Yeah, everyone, I hope you are still there with your ears straight to the ground, trying to know what's a guan. So the election is a guan. So that's what's going on. Jamaica say go on. So if you get that rhythm. So whatever it is, we are here still with our ears glued to the ground, trying to know what's ahead. But let's still play back to some few things that has, just happened today, to some little activities here and there, and touch on some issues. Where Obasanjo went to the polls, and let's see how he was received.
Mr. Shehu, have you checked the fees? Oh yeah, lọ síbẹ̀ yẹn kẹlọ vote come up. You guys, oh God. That means you move back. What she says, they will have seen, they don't massacre capture it. They're not meant to be here, that's what I'm trying to say. You guys can capture the vote.
Well, what I've seen here is okay. I think this is we'll get it through, and maybe a number of what may be apparent for improvement of in future can then be talked about. But I came in, I was given, I was checked. Then they asked me to remove my glasses, and I removed my glasses, and then my picture appeared. That's a new one, and. If that will happen all over the country, I think we are making progress in that regard. And of course, election is the beginning of good governance for any country.
So what are you rooting for? What are your expectations from today's exercise?
Good. My expectation is good.
The BVAS was introduced as a new technology for accreditation.
Which one is the BVAS?
The one used
the one that look at.
The
one they used.
In what way has it impacted in terms of the process?
So that was OBJ himself, trying to dish out his own observation. Let's see what Sima has to say. On play. Actually, Sima voting, it was being booed. They were bullying Shettima.
I should bring my hand down. No, the other unnecessary pushing. Yeah,
So, you see that? That idiot was just being booed by some elements, you know, so that was in his own area. So what will happen if he goes to some other areas? Maybe he will be stoned. So, but whatever it is, that was Shettima, the vice president or vice presidential candidate of APC. I hope he never sees Aso Rock anyway. So, what the hell? These are the Boko Haram financiers and supporters during the time of Jonathan. They were trying to destabilize the country. So now, you want some power also to get to that position that he wants to try to destroy. Don't forget that this man was the same man that harbored what was his name again? Kabiru Sokoto. You know, the man that bombed the church and killed a lot of people in that ECWA church. So when he was found in in the house of Borno State Governor Lyson, whatever thing they call it. You know, so in fact, he was being hidden away from the security forces by Shettima, as was said then. So you people should not easily forget things and start to do things like there's no tomorrow. Now, the tomorrow has caught up with him, and here he is, let him deal with it. So that is that. You know, so let's see what they still have here on Arise.
Yes, this is a departure. The cadre that was functioning, the beavers were functioning. But look at in some areas in Delta, yes, good. But that you can't say the same of other areas in Delta State, because we also seen complaint from these same places. Most of the states that we have covered today, there is one issue or the other. And that will overshadow whatever, like Tete said, whatever good intention or good work that Professor Mahmood would have put in place.
All right, Liberals. Now, Torera is still riding on this inconclusive narrative with regards to Frank Tietie's statements earlier. I remember sometime in 2018, 2019, the Osun elections that brought in former Governor Oyetola. 2 or 3 local governments were contested. And they had some logistic issues, there were some minor skirmishes, but it was enough to delay the conclusion of that election, so much so that it was extended for a week, before they actually got some kind of closure over the elections. And of course, that was when the Omishore camp was being courted to get more votes from either candidates. There was a stalemate, it was almost neck and neck. Now, here we have logistic issues, INEC not coming every now and then. So are we going to see, based on what we've seen so far, the reports coming in, of a likelihood of this election at one point in time, maybe not everything, but some regions, and like Liberals also mentioned, at some time, some regions might be excluded and be told to have another rerun in those regions that are contested?
I think we're all anxious for INEC to speak to us at 4:13. We do need answers. We do need answers for everything that went wrong today. We need answers as to why there were not enough security agents manning many of the polling units. We need answers as to why INEC officials were delayed. There are many polling units as far as 2-3 p.m. today that have no INEC agents and no answers from INEC as to when the agents would actually arrive. So that will be dependent on INEC's feedback to the nation. We also need feedback onto what will happen from this point onwards. We don't know how many percentage of the up to 90 million voters actually were able to vote today. We don't have those answers. And my brother, you said you said rigging starts from INEC level, from the ad hoc representatives. Okay.
Even from appointment of.
Absolutely.
Look. Let's. Sorry, I'm not cutting you short.
Go ahead.
Recently, we had cause to cry to INEC that you have resident electoral commissioners that have performed creditably well, and you gave those elections kudos. You had one from Sokoto, you had one from Anambra, you had one from Akwa Ibom. At the end of the day, their tenure came and they were eased off the commission. People who, excuse me, who were allegedly, accused of being partisan were nominated to replace some of these resident electoral commissioners. So why wouldn't you have such a scenario? So if you at that level, the same party, APC today, while they were in opposition, touted the waste panel report. Waste panel report. We must return back to waste panel report. The president can no longer appoint who becomes the INEC chairman. There must be a process. We had a waste panel report when they were in opposition, but the moment they came into government, waste panel report saw a natural death. Nobody discussed it again. But anyway, I don't blame them. I also blame the current opposition because they went to sleep on their right. And then came the appointment of Mahmoud. Mahmoud was appointed first election. You had resident electoral commissioners who also, it got so bad that one was refused clearance on the floor of the National Assembly. Even Loretta Onoche, who was a vociferous supporter of the president, was nominated as a national commissioner until the people and the media rejected it. And so, when you have such an independent, quote unquote, umpire conducting election, and coupled with the attitude of Nigerian politicians, what will happen to the ordinary ad hoc staffs that will be appointed? It will just naturally flow from there. That's what the point I'm making.
All right, if I may, I'm sorry, but who should be responsible for nominating the INEC chairman? If the president,
what did the waste panel report recommend? Waste panel report recommended that the political parties should be involved in the process of nominating, and then there should be a committee headed by retired justices, and 3 persons would be screened, passing through a screening process, will be screened, and then these 3 persons will be recommended to Mr. President, and then from among these 3 persons, he will still exercise that his power. But that process of screening the persons should not rest squarely in the hands of Mr. President, who also in most cases, his party is participating in the election. So this was a beautiful recommendation that would insulate INEC from the vagaries and dictate of the political party, including funding for the election. But today, nobody is discussing it. We are very okay. Once we conduct one off-cycle election and it seems transparent, we'll sing Uhuru. Until we get to critical election like this, you discover that we conduct a credible election, even this is the last thing we do, becomes the first flat on his face.
Are you in some way, shape, or form saying that this current election is not credible? As of right now.
I have not said that, but the challenges we are saying, corroborating what you have said, that we shouldn't be seeing them after all of this preparation.
All right, let's get some latest reports from Ozioma Okole, who is still in Okota, reporting for Rise News. Ozi, talk to us. What's the latest in Okota? Has there been improvement?
We are back at polling unit 023. That's the Babaiwe polling unit, where we have the largest of electorates in Okota, and the situation here is becoming something else. People are complaining, people are beginning to flare up, and you can hear the voices at the background. Tempers are flaring that the process is too slow, and so far they've not even got into number 200 and something, because
also permit me to interject at this point. I would like to ask a question. Permit me to interject at this point. I would like to ask a question, because that particular polling unit is quite notorious. Over the years, we've seen electoral violence happen in that particular polling unit.
You are right.
So,
you are very, very correct.
What is so special about that particular polling unit that people are always disenfranchised in every election cycle, or in the recent election cycles we've seen?
Aaron, I quite understand where you are headed, because I know you also live in this particular area and you know that environment more than I do. So there is a particular man that told us that because there is a kind of block vote in this community, so every election year there's this kind of challenges in having people come to exercise their civic responsibilities with ease. Someone was even explaining, and then he said that the block votes always have that issue. That's why every election year there is always a problem. So tell us your name and then why you feel that there must always be a challenge here because of the block vote.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Elo Chuku. The number of people here is very big. My number is 814. Why they are still in 200 and they don't come with stamp. They just go and borrow stamp from people that just finished. 1 unit, 1 stamp for all these people. People are tired. They didn't even come with stamp. Please, I should do some this.
Okay, hold on. Do you think it's deliberate?
Why I think it's deliberate. They just do it. Why would they come here without stamp? And they came late. We've been here since 6 o'clock. What time? Look at crowd here. Last election, this is where the violence starts. They should please help us.
Okay, you mean last election in 2019?
Yes. This is where the violence starts. Last election, the other helicopter is roving here. There's no security men here, and we are patient. We don't want violence. They should help us. They don't have to frustrate us. It's bad. And there's no violence. There's no security personnel, and we come down. We are on the sun.
Okay, but for this 2023 election, there is no violence so far, and security men are on ground compared to last year. Yes. So we need to establish that.
Yes, security men. The soldiers have come here. We have complained. They said they must finish the election. They must finish it. Now look at the crowd here. Let them help us. We are tired of all this mess.
Okay, so there are more additional people around me. They want to speak their mind. They want to air their view that they are tired of every election year they come to this particular polling unit. It is one issue or the other, and they don't know why this is a consistency.
Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Ifeanyi AK, and I'm supposed to be a voter here. This is polling unit 03, Ward 8, 023. You see, the major problem we're having here is we don't have enough INEC staff here. We don't have enough. If you look at the population, we are almost 900 here. And according to INEC, we were told that some of the voters here will be moved. Unfortunately, the INEC list that was supposed to be published was not published because they came in late. And those that were moved, allegedly moved, they don't know. And that's why you have so much crowd here. Assuming anybody comes in here, goes to check the list, if they have pasted the list, the crowd would have thinned out. You understand? Another issue which I think INEC needs to address is check the number of INEC staff here compared to, check the number of INEC staff here. There are about 3 of them here. It was 2 before, but they had to second one from another polling unit.
All right.
Ozzy.
Okay, I think. All right, okay, we just heard from him there. We were discussing while we were having the report about the number of electorates per polling unit, and it's between 500 and 750. So when somebody said that he took a number and it is 831, I'm shocked.
Created voting points.
Yes.
What they did, it started during Jega's time, when you have more than 500 voters in it.
You see, to me, all these explanations, and interview from sources and from people around that area has already, proven beyond reasonable doubt what we thought was happening.
There were publications of names and voters for claims and objection. And so, getting to my polling unit, I confirmed truly, that's like a week before now, I confirmed truly that INEC had truly and indeed changed my polling unit to another polling unit. So it was easy. It's easy on election day to go to where your new polling unit is. But for some persons that change their phone numbers, I'm not making excuses for INEC. I've been on their neck since, but also there are some facts that are obvious. For some persons that might have changed their numbers, definitely you won't get that, SMS. But also, that shouldn't stop INEC from pasting the names of these persons for claims and objection at the polling unit. So it becomes easy for you to go to this your old polling unit and check if you're before the election. So if your name is not there, you now know that your polling unit had been changed. But coming to the polling unit on that same day, there are no notices on the wall, and it will be rowdy. And the number of ADOC staff also should have been increased. But I think that because the number is specifically so, because that number you have at that polling unit ought not to be the number at that polling unit. Some persons might have been transferred to another polling unit, but they are not aware. Why we blame INEC, also blame some Nigerians who don't take these issues seriously. They wait until the last minute before they begin to verify. INEC also, I'm aware, INEC also created a portal for you to verify your polling unit. And those portals were shared by political parties and persons.
What you are inferring is that those people on that queue have not been accredited, because during accreditation, all this should come to light.
Yes, because there is no way you can be accredited if you even don't know that that's not your polling unit. So what people would have done would be to verify their polling unit before today. So you know where to go to. So you don't just assume blindly if you were voting in polling unit 002 and then you just go there, even though INEC had moved you to polling unit 009.
All right, Liberals, based on what you're saying now, we have a development. Let's shift focus to Warri in Delta State, where we understand accreditation is yet to commence. Sylvester Idowu, a reporter with our sister publication, This Day newspaper, joins us now on the line. Sylvester, what's happening in Warri South where you are at the moment?
I just left the INEC office. In the morning when I set out to monitor the exercise, the first port of call was the INEC office in Warri, and that was about 9:20 a.m. There was no distribution of materials. All the materials were just stuck in one spot. And I spoke with the electoral officer, who is also a deputy director of INEC, Mr. Kingsley Ogwe. And he told me the excuse he gave then was that the party agents had not arrived. They arrived very late, and that delayed the process. And we took him for his word. I left that place and went to the nearby Uwe local government. As at 11 o'clock, the materials had arrived, most of the polling units and works. In the nearby Okpe, where the governorship candidate hails from, voting started as at the time I got there around 2:30. By the time I was returning to Warri to monitor the situation of things in Warri, since I did not see anything as at the time I set out in the morning, I now discovered that most of the places we go to are at 1-2. No electoral material, no INEC officials, and people were hungry. People were complaining. So I had to go back to the INEC office at about 2:30. On getting to INEC office, that was the time they started, deploying officials and materials to the field. As I'm talking to you now, probably some must have just commenced the accreditation process. And in some areas, Ubeji and all the neighboring communities, they are yet to receive their materials. The materials are still on the way. That's the situation in Warri and Everon.
Okay, Sylvester, in view of what's happening, how are people reacting to this development so far?
At Ibudu Primary School, where we have about 6 units, you can imagine the crowd that converged there. They were hungry. As a matter of fact, I had to remove my INEC tag because they didn't want to see anything that has to do with INEC or any government official or whatever. Because of they were hungry. But because I knew one or few people there, I was able to, get their reactions. Angry, no INEC officials, no materials. They don't know whether they will vote.
All right, Sylvester.
This afternoon.
According to Professor Yakubu Mahmoud, he says that voting should close by 2:30. So as it stands right now,
voting cannot close by 2 o'clock because it's almost 2 o'clock. And materials are yet
almost
to get
4 o'clock, actually.
The materials are yet to get to some units and was in Warri. So obviously they cannot close until evening or late in the night.
All right. Sylvester Idowu, the sister station correspondent, This Day newspaper in Warri South. Many thanks for your update, and hopefully things will improve there. But the situation is looking pretty grim right now regarding all this. Now, Torira, sometime was it? If you look back, the election that brought in Governor Charles Soludo. I remember then in the studio, we were here for hours. He couldn't vote due to some logistic problems. And we're talking about a high-density scenario here at polling stations. Of course, I wanted to ask Liberos the other time that, okay, fine, how many, machines, BVAS machines or what have you?
So, my people, what are your observations so far? So with all this grammar you are speaking here and there, etc., to me, I'm getting more frustrated. The more I listen, the more I get even angry, about the situations. Because I just can't imagine that INEC officials will be short of staff, actually, to the extent that a whole polling unit, where you have about close to 1,000 people, we have only 2 INEC staffs working. And the last time that he was interviewed, the INEC official said, okay, they were supposed to close by 2, then maybe now they will close by 4. That they've asked for more hands, to join them. I'm talking about the man in Okota. You understand? And that very polling unit was said to be the largest in that area or in that local government. Now, all of a sudden, 1 hour later, then they went back there again with the camera. Then they saw that the backup that he had is just only 1 man. So, out of about 1,000 people, so to say, then he has attended to about 200 or 200 or something. So, which means about 800 are still pending. So, what is going to happen? Now, he just if this man have to keep to that his word by saying that he will close by 4 or by 4 o'clock or so, then which means that he have less than an hour, to attend to about 800 people. The same man has not been able to, when they were 2, they were not able to attend to even half of that numbers from 11 o'clock that they were said to have resumed, because they were supposed to resume by 8 o'clock, but they resumed by 11 or whatever, and let's say 11 o'clock to that 2 o'clock, when he was already on less than 200. Okay, now about 1 hour later, it was about 200. It was about 200 down. So which means you still have about 800 to go. So now, How can this man now attend to 800 people with one backup with another 30 or 40 minutes remaining? Is that logic? There's no logic in that. So as far as I'm concerned, if they really want to, allow the people to exercise their franchise, then I think they'll be working late into the night. And I don't think that that would be made possible by just 2 or 3 INEC staffs. Even if they deploy 20 men there to help them in that area, I don't think it will be enough. So except they have another motive, so which is what the other guy was trying to say just now, then it was shying away because the camera, it was faced with the camera again for the optic time, and it was kind of saying yes, but it was not specific anymore. So, but what he was saying is that everybody knows it, that every year, every election year or electionary year, there's always this problem in this Okota area, simply because this area is highly populated by Southerners who are non-Yorubas or who are non-Lagosians. Although they are Lagosians, but if you know what I mean, they came from other parts of Nigeria, from the south. They are not Westerners, so they are not taught or perceived to have a block vote for a particular candidate in this election, just like they were perceived, in 2019, that they were giving their block vote to the PDP, which was Atiku as at that time. But this time around, they not think that this block vote will be going to Obi. So definitely, for this reason alone, then they have to disenfranchise, or somehow, something have to happen. So that's exactly what is going on there. So let's not shy away from the truth, because if you know that these people, this area is highly populated by Nigerians, and you really want to deploy mechanisms there, so you don't take the same numbers of staff to a place where you have about maybe 200 people, for example, and you take the same 2 staffs to a place where you have 1,000 people. You understand? So it's common sense. So they have enough staff, they have enough time to recruit. What are they doing with all the money that was allocated, for all these elections? Is it not to prosecute the elections and make the elections go on smoothly? Is it because the people are so quiet and so so calm and what have you sometimes, So like in 2019, they were forced, to take laws into their hands, and before you do it, there was a lot of problems here and there. So, but the people are so calm this time around because they know that if any problem should come or should occur in this area, then at the end of the day, they might use that one to want to, disenfranchise the whole process, or even want to, cancel the whole elections that came in, the result that came in from that zone, So by so doing, they've already rigged the election, in the favor of the opposition. So, but they should not, take these things and take it to the other level by trying to rub it to their faces. So at the end of the day, so trying to, take what belongs to them and take their rights from them and stuff like that. We are just talking about an ordinary election. Yeah. My people, I can show you. I can show you my election card. They send it to me at home. I did not apply for any election voters card. For example, here they just send it to you when the time comes. I was even asking my wife, say, whom are they voting for this time around? So because I didn't even have time to even look at it, as at that time, because I was not even expecting it. You understand? It's not something you have to fight for. And that day, if you just go to where they vote here, you just see the queue there. If there's any queue at all, if there's no queue, you just vote your thing and you just leave. It's not like you have to stay on the queue for hours or minutes and stuff like that. No, it doesn't happen like that. Election does not supposed to be kind of, a do or die or fighting and what have you, or wrangling, etc. It's supposed to be a very peaceful thing. It's like you do in so many other organizations. You cast your vote for whom you want, then I cast mine. So at the end of the day, when the votes are counted, then we all, we all see what the outcome is or what the result is, and everyone is kind of joyful and we take it like that, the way it is. So this one, I just hope that this time around, this whole thing will not mess the whole thing up again, because I know in the north it always happen the other way around. You carry people from nowhere, they just come and just trumpet and go. That is it. So at the end of the day, they just tell you, they can't do thing and tell you, oh, Beavers machine, shake it, shake it to Beavers machine. It's not working, it's not good. Even when they know it's good and it's working. Because what that means is that they are trying to tell you that now it's your turn to challenge the system, that the vote or the fingerprints that they printed then was not, did not tally according to the Beavers, etc. But meanwhile, they've already given a number and sent it to the INEC headquarters and stuff. So that is what they always does. So I think the SAT can also do this, because like me, like those people are just there now. Why are they standing there waiting for one useless machine that is not actually functioning? Just put some little polling units, what do you call it, booths, overall, spread them like that in circle like that, and just give them their paper and stuff like that, and to go and throw into the whole thing, and before you know it, everyone will go their own way. So if this new system is not working, let the old system work. Before Beavers, there used to be an election. Even during Jonathan time in 2014 and 15, there was this electronic this thing that they were using at that time, smart card reader. It was also better than what this Beavers is giving them. But what we were told about the Beavers is that we were told that Beavers was far more better than the card reading machine, etc. So, but from what we are saying now, we can see that those things that we were made to believe about the Beavers or Beaver system, can actually be true, but are they well implemented to the extent that actually it will really, speed up the whole thing and function well as it was meant, to? Or is it just, made there to try to disenfranchise some other people, within a section of the country? So that is what we are facing right now. So, but for whatever it is, we are still hoping for, for the best to come out of this whole thing. I know that no election is perfect, but if only they can just be normal on this whole thing, just normal. Nobody's asking for some extraordinarily, technical know-how, 100%, operational levels. So people are just asking for the basics. But would the basic not be enough? If only they can just, put that in place, the basic will have been enough. So let's see what's going on again. It's Adamawa.
Unit 12, Assistant Commissioner of Police quarters in Ajia Ward, Old GRA Jemata in Yola North, where the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party had earlier in the morning come to cast his vote alongside his wife. Now, this unit had about 700 voters, and right now the sorting is actually taking place. Sorting is underway. Now, for the senatorial and the House of Representatives, that has already been sorted. What is being sorted, as you can see, in the presence of agents, party agents, is the presidential ballots that are actually being sorted right now. As you can see clearly, that is what is going on now. There's been some level of peace. In fact, I would say that there's been no report of any violence in this area at all since the voting had actually started at about 8:30, 8:40 in the morning.
All right, Mary, you say relative peace there. So as it stands right now, so we're still trying to push further. Talk to us. I would like to hear from you.
Nationwide.
What do the people, how are they feeling? And what's their own verdict about the general elections that is still ongoing as we speak? Are they still around, hoping to watch over their votes? What is going on there?
Okay, so honestly, this is one polling unit where the people are not just voting and going away. The people are voting and waiting alongside party agents to ensure that their votes actually count. I'm just going to ask for the camera to be panned so that you can see the people here who are eagerly, waiting for these votes to be sorted, collation to begin to take place and all of that, and, to know who wins in this particular polling unit. is a big deal. It seems to be a big deal for voters right here at this polling unit. I mean, they're all here. They're waiting. They just can't wait to find out who takes the day for this particular polling unit, which also is the polling unit where the PDP presidential candidate had to cast his vote.
Mary Chinda from Yola, Adamawa State, many thanks for the update. Hopefully you'll give us more as the day continues.
So that was the article's, word, and our polling unit. So whatever thing comes out of that place, we know later. So let's move on and look for some other stuff. So but I think for now, and I have to go again, then only to join back later. So that is it. Let's take it from
number of votes. In that case, we still see some reasonable compliance going on over there. The earlier reports we've got on governors and other party stalwarts that have voted, especially
those who have not
in the
subscribed,
regions in the north,
for those who have subscribed,
there is some hope that this election will come out fine. However,
checking
with
out
the fact that
new videos
real situation we're watching
and giving us a thumbs up,
on this
that will give us some encouragement,
that,
to
there
keep
is a
doing
need
what
for
we are
INEC to
doing,
act fast.
and bringing
There
out
is also need to address
best,
these issues to calm frayed nerves,
and
because
bringing
it's
the news
very easy for
and the happiness
persons with
closer
high
to the people.
aspirations to turn
Because if you said
such into
politics
any
is not
form
my
of,
thing,
violent
it doesn't
expression.
concern me.
That is what we don't want. And I
At the
can
time
boldly announce
they elect
that
a fool
there is
to rule over
absolutely
you,
no cause for alarm,
then it becomes
even when things
your
don't
president,
go right.
your
Because
governor.
the law has a way of
So,
making provisions when there are wrongs.
I
when
hope one
things
day you don't
go
wake up
according to
and you
expectation.
find out that
Especially for those of
that foolish
those polling units that
person,
are unable
which I
to
pray we don't
carry
have,
on the voting process. There
not
is
sell these
a
people
very
for a
strong
cup of tea.
possibility that there could be
while the wise ones are
extension
watching
or
or
postponement.
sleeping,
But one thing must
then
be
they'll be
clear:
taken unaware by
if these
saying,
elections are
hey,
not
I never knew that
substantially
this man was so foolish.
held in compliance
So,
with electoral
we
acts,
don't want
we
that.
will have a lot of
So for that,
court
sometimes,
cases. This is an unprecedented election.
you have
It
to
hasn't
be
happened like
politically
this in
aware.
our country's history.
So it
That
doesn't
we
mean
have,
that to be
contending
politically aware
forces
that
in
you
the
have to
character and in the personalities that we have
get a
currently
gun,
in our
or snatch
progressive
buses and
Congress,
things like
the
that.
PDP, the NNPP,
So it all depends on
and
the awareness also that you are
particularly the Labour Party.
helping to, to pass
Nigerians are
around
waiting with bated
within the
breath
community,
that something
waking up the
significant,
mind
a
of
shift
the people,
from the ordinary, from
their
the
conscious
old,
mind
is about to happen.
of the people,
And it is a
as far as
moment,
who
it's a
rule
turning
them
point
and how
for
they are
us in
ruled
this country. Having
and
witnessed elections,
the quality of life
and that has been a big
that they
problem.
led.
It's not because we're practicing
So
presidential
all these things
federalist
are brought about
democracy.
by the political
Even when
leadership.
even when
So
the colonial
leadership
masters
is a
handed
big
over
deal.
in 1960,
So you can imagine we are not
very
in
bloody
Nigeria,
in
but
Western
yet we are talking
Nigeria.
about we are
And
concerned
then
because anything that
1964
concerns them back
elections
home
was also
concerns us.
terrible. So we've
That
had
is just the truth.
a history of
You know,
failed
so
elections. Nevertheless,
let's
we've
do what we are
managed
doing. Don't
to.
call me a politician. I'm not a
Nigerians have been
politician.
through a very big
You know,
conflict,
so but I want
considering
the
the fact that it
betterment
was a civil war.
for my country because
Everything
I've
is being done
traveled
to
out and I've
avoid
seen how things
any
are
form
supposed
of
to be
disenchantment
and
that
how
will
things
lead
should be.
to any
So right now I don't have the
conflagration
power
in that
to do those
magnitude.
things or
That
effect
is
those
the
things, but
reason
the only
why
thing I have, the
go
only power
back
I
to
now have is the power of the
headline
pen
of this day
and the
today,
power of
that
tongue,
this is the moment
to
of truth
impart
for
positively
Nigerians, because
and to
we are
motivate
now
the
coming
people,
face to face with
to make
who
them
we are,
realize
how
what their
prepared
powers
we
are
were, how
and
much
what it entails for them to take their power and take their country back, and make their country work for them. That's what we want, nothing else. So I'm not working for any political party, nor any person, but maybe I have a political person in mind that I will want or that I believe that can do the job better than the others, just like you are. So it's a matter of choice. I make my choice. You make your choice. But then, what really matters is about the people that we are trying to motivate. So that at least when they wake up,